Here's the big idea in 30 seconds. Effective learning is the most fundamental skill you can master. It's how you improve yourself. But there is a definitive disconnect between the way we think we should learn something and the way our brain actually does. As a result, when we go about trying to master a new subject, we are often frustrated, bored, and when we get that critical piece of information that we've been searching for, we don't apply it to our lives. Because we don't understand how to learn. Understanding why this disconnect occurs and how to overcome it so you can succeed and ultimately thrive in your life is what this channel is all about. So that's a big idea. Let's get down to brass tacks. So the first thing we have to discuss is learning a skill. It is. It's something that some people are good at and other people are bad at. But it's something that you can get better at with practice. I'm good at it. I've been good at it for a long time, and it's a passion of mine. From succeeding in school, to learning guitar, to learning how to juggle. These are all things that I love that I've done. I know the rules of the game, and I enjoy playing it well. From the outside, the reason why I'm successful seems simple. It's because I just structure the information so I learn the important stuff first. But I consistently stick to my targets and reach them quicker than my peers. It's because I have a good method. You see, learning is one of these fundamental skills where it matters more how you go about it rather than how much effort you put into it. If you can pay attention to the right things and invest your resources in the correct way, you will learn faster. So whether you're trying to become a world-class chef, or master a new musical instrument, or become more confident in your relationships, those are all skills, and I can help you get better at them by teaching you the fundamentals of learning. I want to show you what I mean, and it's best done through an example. So I hope that you'll join me when we do this little fun exercise I've put together. It's designed to be a little bit challenging, and if you don't want to participate, that's fine. But know that you'll lose a concrete understanding of what we're talking about here. And again, I designed this to be fun. Now, I'm going to ask that you try something first, and then you try to understand it later. See, we have this mental conception where we think that we need to understand everything intellectually first before we try it. But we actually learn best when we try something first, and then understand everything that it unlocks. So, if you're willing to take a little bit of a risk, what we're going to do is an arm movement. With our left arm, we're going to raise it up. We're going to go out to the side, and then down. Side, up, side, down, side, up. And we're just going to keep repeating that. Okay? Now with our right arm, we're going to be going up and down. Just this over and over again. It's a little bit easier. Up and down. Okay? Now, I think you can see where this is going. What we're going to do is we're going to integrate these two things together. And I'm not going to give you any hard and fast instructions because that'll probably just confuse you. Instead, I want you to try to pick out the movement pattern in there. See if you can find it. Okay? So we're going to start off with both arms up and we're going to go slow. Okay? In the next position. Do it again. Nice and slow. See the pattern? Let's try it again. Add the sound effects in. Makes it more fun. A little bit faster. All right, if you participated, thank you very much. And what I wanted you to see is that's the learning process. That's everything that we're talking about right there. And you also had to notice that you went through a few steps in that process. First, you had to feel safe enough to risk looking a little bit foolish. Then you had to imagine trying it. And then after you had imagined it, you committed to it. And only after you committed did you learn what exactly had to move. You learned how to move your arm. And you learned one arm and then the other, one piece at a time. And after you learn all the pieces, you were able to integrate it together into one fluid movement. Now at first, this was hard. It was something that you had to really think about. You had to go slow. But after a little bit of practice, you're able to go faster. And if you had kept that up, eventually you'd be able to stop thinking about it altogether. This is the learning process. It's the same for whether you're learning Spanish or guitar. Now what effective learning does is it comes in and says, how can we improve this process? See, We can look at it on both a micro and macro perspective. On a micro perspective, how can we make this single practice session as effective as possible? Well, if our goal in this case is to learn how to do this without thinking about it, rather than just repeating that over and over and over again, we'd want to introduce some desirable difficulties. One desirable difficulty, rather than starting like this, we might start from here and then continue the pattern. And that would give us a more fluid understanding of the whole process, and we'd learn quicker than if we had just kept repeating it over and over again. Also, it's more fun. On a macro scale, how do we fit this practice into our lives so we stick with it? Well, we'd want to first think about it's a motor pattern. And we know that motor patterns get refined when we sleep. So we'd want to put it right before bed so it's fresh in our minds when we fall asleep. And then I know that sticking with something is dependent on seeing results from it. So I'd want to put a small test right in the morning where I can see how much improvement I made just from doing it right before I went to bed. By combining these two things, you stick with something and learn it more effectively. Now, there are many other techniques we can discuss, and it gets way more complex than learning the Dallas Cowboys cheering routine. But we don't have time for that. This video is going to end soon, and I want to leave you with this. If there's ever a time to master effective learning, it's now. We have to learn more than ever before. We have to deal with fiercer competition, and we have less time to do it in. So knowing how to manage the scarce resource of energy and spend it effectively so you get the best results out of it is a crucial skill. And it's a skill that pays dividends. Once you learn it, you start saving time, and that builds upon itself. And you're required to learn throughout your entire life, from before you're born to your last breath. But it's something we're fucking terrible at. We have to do it for jobs. We have to do it for learning complex ideas, and we have to do it if we want to take our life from here to here. One of the reasons we're terrible at it is that we're our own worst coach. We don't know when we've learned something. We're bad at that. But the biggest reason why we fail, the biggest reason why we aren't good at learning, it's not our fault. No one ever sat us down to teach us how to learn. We never learned these things in school. No one ever said this is how you study. This is how you get better at something. This is how you stay with it, stay committed to a goal. It's just expected that you were able to do it. You see, learning is its own superpower. You get better at it with practice. And the ability to change makes you your own superhero. When you become a better version of yourself, you are your own superhero. You're faster than your fears. You're more powerful than your past self. And you're able to leap tall challenges. Maybe not in a single round, but step by confident step. Know this though. I'm not going to improve your life for you. This is something that we have to do together, with you. When you feel you're ready, the time's right, I encourage you to leave a comment below so we can discuss how to make that a reality. As always, thanks for getting better. Okay, bad joke time. What happened to the frog that got stranded alongside the road? He got towed away. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been doing this joke quite a few times.